So first off, what I would really like to clarify in the very beginning of this video before I start going into what I want to talk about is just because I'm sharing bits and pieces throughout these videos I'm making on some events that had happened throughout my life as a child for my own personal testimony, they are my perspectives. They're my observations, and it is my personal testimony to share things that I observed that I might have viewed as wrong. It doesn't mean that I look at my parents in a negative way. There's been a lot of forgiveness and a lot of healing throughout my adult life in my walk with where I am with the Lord that has healed so much stuff. I don't hold anything on my parents at all. I treasure that the way that I grew up and the way that they had me grow up. They did the best that they could in that time. And sure, I know that my mom and dad would see where they wish that they could go back in time and fix, but you just can't think like that. You can't view life like that because everything that I went through was necessary for the person that I am today. So I was raised through darkness with light involved in there because Abba was with me from the moment I was formed in my mother's womb. I truly believe that. It taught me so much, and I actually treasure that I was raised the way that I was. I count it like precious than gold. It's what's shaped me and molded me into this person that I am now, and I could use what I grew up to help others. And it's the same for my parents. They have their own story of their childhood, of what they went through, what they observed in their life, their losses, their gains in their life, the way that their parents raised them. And it kind of, that generational curse, that's why it's so important that we focus on how real this is, generational curses, because they carry on through your children and their children's children, and you just got to be the strong one to break that curse. And how you do that is you come to the truth. You come to realize and seek something so valuable to where you're done doing things that insult your soul. And God is within us. He is in our vessel. He is in everybody. It's whether you want to activate him or not. Seek him and you shall find him. And when you do that and you have your transformation of activation within you, with him in you, you inherit the kingdom in your mind. And that's what sets you free and sets you apart from everybody else. And then you can move on with training up your children in the way that they should go so that way they could drop the generational curses. That's the goal. But I just really need to say that in these videos that I'm sharing bits and pieces of like my background and my testimony, I don't want it to be unhealthy to my family members, just because I'm speaking about things. I want it to be a healthy conviction, to where, they can receive this beautiful seed in growth and change and realization. Conviction is really beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. We all have to face it in our lives. I faced it in my life. I was convicted in 2013 before I came to my being awakening from being born again. I was convicted of things that I was doing, and it was something that actually helped me and was beneficial for me and elevated me, because God chastises and corrects those he loves. And yeah, you don't want to run away from the truth. You want to stand brave and courageous in that truth. If you want to put out the energy you put out for all those years with no accountability, eventually that accountability is going to catch up to a person. And it's only through seeing that and hearing that, to where we become on our journey of being set free in the process. So it's actually a really beautiful thing. But I don't want to condemn. That's my whole point, is I'm not condemning my family at all. Not even a smidge of condemning. It's just, I hope that there's like a healthy conviction there. And one day my children are going to grow up and they're going to have a voice. They're going to be able to say things that they've observed, and I want them to do that because I like to be corrected. I like to be set on an alignment. I don't want to be off alignment in myself. I'm the type of person that just likes to self-analyze myself, to correct myself, because I'm here on a journey and I have a purpose here that I hear spoken into my soul that's so potent, that I am here to uplift and encourage. That's my greatest gift, is encouraging, and to help humanity to be better. You know what I mean? To help maybe open eyes to a different perspective. And that's what I feel I'm led to do. And I'm not meaning to hurt anybody. That's not my intentions. It's actually quite the opposite. It's because I speak the truth so boldly and so bravely, because I absolutely love so unconditionally and forgive 77 times 7. And I just want the best for my family and for people that want to hear the truth, that can resonate to it with their upbringing. You know, we're in a great season of transformation, and a lot of people are feeling this beautiful transformation within them. They're growing, they're evolving, they're done doing things that are just damaging their life. They're seeing with clear vision now. They're wanting to change. And it's one of the most beautiful things as a seed planter that you can ever witness. It's the most precious thing when you can see a soul transforming into something of their higher self, of who they are like capable of becoming, you know? And we all have this in us. We all have a higher self. It's like climbing up the ladder, you know, like Jacob's ladder. It's just, you're reaching a higher, like just transforming and becoming a better person, so that way you could be better for other people. I don't think that I am better than anybody. I'm here on the same journey. You know, it's just what I'm feeding into myself to help me grow that comes off like it's higher, I guess you would say, in other people's perspective. But to me, I see us all on the same journey. It's just what we're feeding ourselves. And for me, I feed myself. I want knowledge and wisdom more than anything is wisdom. That's the absolute super dose of like what I really want the most. And he says if anyone asks for wisdom, that he would give wisdom to them. So it's like I'm saying, like, it's not that I think I'm better, that I don't have any flaws, that I'm not a work in progress, because I am. And a lot of these videos, especially like what I'm talking about, it's more so for me, so that way in the future I can go back and see these and see where I was. And I get healing from these too, because I never know what's coming out of my mouth when I'm doing these talkings. So they encourage me. And it's God through me that I hear when I put these videos together. And it gives me a great comfort to know that I'm not alone, because greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world. So I'm not in the world. I'm in here, in me, where God is. And a lot of people are in the world, and they're living in so much noise and keeping themselves so busy to where they can't get in tune to hearing that greater voice inside them. They're only hearing partiality of that great voice in them when they're busy. But in order to hear him and be the best version of you that you can be with him in you, is you have to find some solitude. There has to be some healthy form of solitude in order to get this. Because if it's too noisy and it's too loud and you're people pleasing so much, you might be doing so many great things with walking in that way, but you could do even greater things if you step away from all of that and get in tune to who you are. That's when great things are going to happen. Even Moses had to go away from all the noise and all the busyness, and he had to go up on a mountain, and he got those commandments from the Lord himself, you know, and those statutes to live by. And that's what we must do. Those of us that have the ears to hear, you know, this is for a certain handful of people. And those listening, you know exactly who you are. You know exactly what you need to do. And yeah, this is a great thing. This is a great thing. It's not a bad thing at all. And it's a lot of work. And for me, it's like A lot of people would look at me like a leader type, but it's like I'm not here to be this leader. I'm here to create other leaders, you know? I look at everybody like equals. That's the way that I view it. I don't look down on anybody. But yeah, I do this. It's a hard thing because you get viewed at like you're a neglectful person, or that you're a prude, or you just you don't love life because you're like this. You're a hater of life, but it's quite the opposite. I'm actually here doing what you're supposed to be doing with life and stepping away so that way I could be a better person. One of the blessings about having children is that one day, throughout all the upbringing that they go through, they're going to also help lead you back home to all that you instilled that was good in them. And it's a very rare thing that you get this. And that's why part of me is making these voiceovers, is to plant that, so that way somewhere, later on, like more children will grow up and have this type of wisdom, and they'll uplift their family members and their parents and their siblings. And so that's why it's such a blessing to have children. That's what I wanted to say.